A new musical with perhaps an unlikely premise premiered last night on Broadway. When U.S. airspace was closed in the hours right after the attacks of September 11th, 167 planes were diverted to a remote corner of Canada. And what happened in the days that followed is the backdrop for the new show, Come From Away. And Tom Brokaw first told this story to American viewers 7 years ago during the Vancouver Olympics.
At first glance, it seems an unlikely subject for a Broadway show. The chaos and the skies in the hours after the 9/11 attacks, and the safe harbor found by thousands of travelers in the town of Gander in Newfoundland. When you heard about what happened in Gander, and then you said, I can make a musical out of this, how many people came to you and said, have you lost your mind?
Everyone we talked to, but you have to tell this story with music. Music's in the DNA of Newfoundland, but that's what inspired us.
During the Vancouver Olympics, I had the privilege of sharing that story with viewers on both sides of the border. 56 minutes after the North Tower is struck, an unprecedented decision has been made. Every non-military plane must land immediately.
Area near 113, we go to Toronto. Area 113 Center, negative. We must now land at Gander, turn right heading 320.
With almost no warning, Gander's vast tarmac was filled with dozens of airplanes. Oz Fudge is Gander's chief constable.
I'm looking at this and I'm saying, holy God. If there's 200 people on each one of these planes, and we're going to get 40 or 50 planes, that's an awful lot of people.
In Gander alone, 38 airplanes, 7,000 stranded passengers and crew, and a small town of less than 10,000, all with open arms. Mayor Claude Elliott knew that his people would rise to the occasion.
We just like helping people. The limelight is not something we're accustomed to, but making people happy is, and trying to please them. I think the greatest need for the 5 days was love. They needed love and compassion.
The most emotional thing, certainly for me and my crew, we got off the airplane at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I knew then they had been up all night preparing this food, and we just couldn't believe it.
The bonds that formed during those remarkable days between the Ganderites and those who, as the show's title suggests, came from away, have endured, and now play out on the stage every night. Canadian husband and wife writing team, Irene Sankoff and David Hine, were in New York at the time of 9/11.
There was a sense of kindness that happened. It's one of the reasons we talk about it as a 9/12 musical rather than a 9/11 musical.
This story is a good reminder that we are all actually good, and at the heart of us, we do want to look out for one another.
And the citizens of Gander, who welcome the world, are now themselves the toasts of the town. But they're really not sure what all this fuss is about.
We do not consider ourselves heroes. The real heroes of our society was the men and women that went into the World Trade Center to try to save lives, the firefighters, the police officers, the paramedics.
One thing, I have hundreds of wonderful friends that I didn't have before 9/11.
And can you dance as well as the person who plays you on the stage?
Not in your life.
I think you can vouch for that. You've seen her dance.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau attended last night's performance, and he invited some special guests, including First Daughter Ivanka Trump. You hope that you'll invite her father to come see the play.
I think so. I think one of the challenges that I've had over the past few months, and one of the responsibilities of any Canadian Prime Minister, is highlighting just how close the relationship is between Canada and the United States. And I think this story encapsulates so much what we shared through great times and also through extraordinarily tragic times.
And Tom Brokaw joins us now here in studio. I remember I was with you in Vancouver. I remember you presenting that story. And I thought, God, I never heard that. How did I miss that? I guess in the fog after 9/11, I hadn't heard the story. And it turns out there were some other people noticing, the people who put this show together.
Yeah. Well, I must say, when we went to Gander to do it, I had no idea what we were getting into. We put the story on the Vancouver Olympics. I have never in my very long career had a public reaction like that in Canada, in this country, because it spoke to what people really feel in their hearts. we all have to help each other here. There are no
Right.
Republicans, no Democrats, no Tea Party people. They're the little town of Gander saying, we do it out of love. We got to help these people. And it's a message I don't think that ever dies, quite honestly. I've now seen the show twice, and I'm so very moved by it.
Yeah.
And I can't get cynical about it.
I felt the same thing just watching the piece. I want to go see the show, and I do want to remember those moments where we all came together. I think it actually does restore a lot of hope in tough times.
And Tom,
A very good example of how they handle it, though. The mayor said, look, this is what we do. We help each other. I've been in Gander. I've fished in that area, and they are can-do. And then when he was later interviewed by a newspaper reporter, they said, well, were you nervous being interviewed by Tom Brokaw? He said, well, I was for a moment. Then by God, I thought, I'll bet he's nervous interviewing the mayor of Gander.
How did Gander change because of all of
It
this?
has not changed. They have reunions. They're getting more tourism, which they welcome. But I must say, I hadn't seen these people since the Vancouver Olympics. They are exactly the same. Oz Fudge did show up last night in his police uniform, which was quite fancy, I must say. No longer just a baseball cap, but he had purple piping and he had very highly polished shoes. They're thrilled with the attention they're getting. But they're going to go home to Gander, then they're going to continue to fish and log and do the things that they always do. And the town hall is Tim Hortons, which is the Canadian version of a McDonald's. They gather there every morning and talk about things. They do now have 3 Tim Hortons. They used to have just 1, so they're doing well.
So the town doubled its size that day that the planes landed? Or Gander itself? Population.
The population about 9,000, and they had over 7,000 people.
That's
They
amazing.
doubled it in a moment.
Doubled it in a day.
And a jogger said he was running down the street, and he said, people stopped him again and again. Here's my address, my door's open, there are fresh towels, there's food in the refrigerator. That went on all the time.
I love that. Oh my gosh, what a great note to end the show on today. Tom Brokaw, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
All right, that does it for us this morning.